G'day friends! Today I'm going to go through the orange bag that's coming out, I want to say next week, maybe today. It all just depends on when I get around to uploading the photos and doing that kind of business stuff. But I wanted to go through it and I wanted to show you a lot of the examples I made because sometimes you can't capture everything in a photo and I thought I might just talk through it. So here's the bag. I'm going to pull everything out. We've got 8 hand-drawn, hand-cut, I mean, they're copies, obviously, because I can't hand-draw everything, but they're all my original pieces from my orange grab bags, from my actual orange stash, sorry. Some of them are in sketchbooks, some of them are just floating about on my desk, some of them are in this gold box now that's the overflow from the orange bag, so it's hitting all-time highs, this hoarding problem that I have. But because I'm putting them in journals, like I said, it's not hoarding anymore, is it? There's a purpose for them. But yeah, things like this actually started off, I thought she was going to be a digi-stamp, so I did a bunch of examples of how to put clothes on them, and then I didn't end up turning it into a digi-stamp. So this is one of the examples of when I put clothes on them. Some of these like random face sketches that I do when I'm sitting on the couch doing nothing. Some of these, I think I did this when Steve was doing his tax returns, and that was kind of boring, so I was doodling on the side of a page when he did that. Old practices, this was an old brushstroke mermaid practice when I thought I wanted to include heads for people to use with that. I didn't end up doing that, so this was just an old sketch. Something from my sketchbook. So this was going to be a digi-stamp, and then I thought it's a little too specific because I had nerd glasses on them, and you know, I like them, I think they're cute, but they're probably not going to be a digi-stamp. So these were just more sketches. This was actually sketched out a lot bigger, but I didn't think it needed to be, and I flipped him over and made him double-sided. Him or her, I guess. It could be anything. If you add pigtails to it, I'm sure it could be a little girl. Gil? What is happening to my accent? This was done on craft paper. I'm having a bit of a craft paper obsession at the moment, so that was a fun little watercolor and pencil sketch with some ink and Sakura jelly roll. And yeah, so that's basically all the hand-drawn illustrations that come with it. Like last time, I'm putting a manila tag in there just for fun, and the 3 color chips. I said before, you could use these as your inspiration for a color palette. You don't have to. If you want, you can just put them in as like little tip-ins and journal pieces. I've definitely just done that because this time I actually didn't stick to a color palette like I did last time. Because I had all of these and I copied so many, I actually think I used this one like 4 times. I don't know, I'll go through the books and I'll show you. And this, inspired by Ali Brown, of course. I think my last video was me actually making this zine. Here's the original here. So yeah, I loved that project, and I wanted to include a zine in every one of these orange grab bags because I found some fun things you can do with them, which I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, it's going to come cut and hand folded, so pray for me as I do that. And but it's actually just a an A4 sheet of paper. I've taped mine here so it doesn't well, yeah, so it goes back together easily, but you can put tape in there. I'm not going to tape them for you just in case you want to cut them up and use them as ephemera, or in case you want to photocopy them. I don't want to, you know, have you ripping pages if you don't want to do that. So I'll just cut them and fold them so that they look like this, but they're not taped like that. Does that make sense? Okay. So here's everything that's in the bag. It's $9.35, just like it was last time. I actually think there's more in it this time, if you count individual pieces. But nevertheless, if this is something you're after, then I just want to show you some of the stuff you can do with it. So I've got them kind of out of order, but the zine, I actually photocopied it onto this craft cardstock. And so you can see here, this is... that's that page. If you just unfold it, these pages are next to each other. Where's the other one? Here, this one. And I just simply cut it in half and then added some Notepad paper in there, so some copy paper. You could add watercolor cardstock in there and create just like a little scrappy journal if you want. You can take this around and make grocery lists in it. I don't know, the world is your oyster, really. But yeah, so that's just something fun that I made. These staples, I mean, you could put staples on the side if your staple doesn't reach here. I actually have this We Are Memory Keepers staple board, which is amazing because you can slot your paper in there and put staples anywhere on the page. So that's something I'm loving at the moment. Oh, and there it goes everywhere. So yeah, just a little notepad. You can, of course, cut them up and use them as ephemera. I think I've got an example in here where I've done that. Yeah. Take this little thing out. So this is where I've just cut one of them up and stuck it in, made it ephemera. If you want to cut one of the double page spreads out and write on the back, you can make a cute little postcard. I'd probably recommend putting it in an envelope. I don't know how it would hold up in post, but oh, I'm out of frame. But yeah, that's something fun that you can do too. This was actually another one of these little faces. This guy here, the other side of him. But I did this with Moonglow and Kyanite Genuine, some Daniel Smith. I'll put it up here just so you can see how fantastic that is. After I'd gone over it, can I even speak today? Why am I bothering if I can't speak? If you want to go over the black lines with a Sakura jelly roll or a souffle, I like the souffle at the moment because they're a lot more opaque and a lot easier to work with. The only problem I have with the souffle is that it goes on kind of clear, so sometimes I can't really see if I've gone over it properly, but you can fix it after it's dry. I love watching it dry too, turning into like this really opaque pastel color. So I actually just went over that with the Sakura Souffle pen, and then I just went over those outlines with a black Sharpie. That's a fun little technique that I've been trying with these. They are on cardstock, and I wouldn't recommend adding a ton of water just because I wouldn't want you to reactivate the ink and get it all smudged and bleeding, but it does take watercolor. I mean, this didn't smudge. I would recommend not using a ton of water. You can do it, tell me if it works, I just didn't want to risk it. So yeah, I put more pigment and more watercolor on the paper than I do actual water. But it's a fun little look, and you know, the paper can handle markers really well. The cardstock, I should say, can handle markers really well. So Copic markers are great to color this stuff in with. I'll show you some of that too. It's like a little favorite quotes of the week that I was trying to do. I gave up. It was just more an example, I guess. This is these little nerd glasses, little ladies, just here. I simply ran over it with Prismacolor markers, Copic markers, and just tried to blend them while they were wet. Some of them didn't blend so well, so I used the colorless blender, but then I kind of bleached out some of these lines, which actually worked well for when I wanted to bring out some of the highlights in the lips and nose, and then I just went over it with a white pen anyway. But yeah, some fun stuff like that just goes to show you don't have to color them in. Normally, I guess, if you're thinking like, oh, they're just coloring sheets, you can just colorize them, you know what I mean? Make them match your layout, do whatever you want. Yeah, and this is just Post-it notes, these little Post-it notes that I have. I really made a background just out of Post-it notes, so I thought that was fun. And my little date stamp, which I'm loving. This is from the Smash company, I think it's called. You know, they used to do those like journals that had all that paper already in there that was all beautiful, and it came with a pen with a glue on the back, and it was just like a really, really simple, easy way to scrapbook. I got this, that's from them, from Target, like a million years ago. So I don't know if they still sell them, but this is my favorite date stamp. Here are a lot of examples. Also, I've got some of my handmade journal tape in here. This is this one here. I just wanted to show you as well, if you've got these journal tapes, because they're paper, they work really well when you want to color them. This is just a Copic marker. I just ran a Copic marker over the top just to blend it in so that everything on this page kind of was like green-ish, and then I pulled some of the accents out with a white jelly roll, which is, it's easy. Really easy to do, really fun, really great. So that's why these are paper and not coated or anything, because I want you to be able to incorporate them in your spreads and not just, you know, stick them down. If you want to stick them down, that's totally fine, but I wanted them to be versatile enough for you to incorporate them. I did that here as well. This green strip here, this green and white, I went over it with a brown Copic marker to blend it in with the craft paper, and this was a lighter brown, which actually almost matched perfectly with the craft, so I'll show you this in a second. I'm all over the place. Here I've cut off the legs. Just put the legs there. I encourage you, if you want to just photocopy these and you know, reproduce them because you don't want to just use them once and never have them again, go for it. Make a million copies, because I like to use them in tons of different ways, and I would hate for you to think, you know, once you've used them you don't have them again. So if you want to photocopy it, I completely endorse you and encourage you. And yeah, I've got some, this is that little, the mermaid head. Just cut her out in a circle and put her down here with some journaling. Here I've colored her in. and just put her up here and said she is expensive. This is a really fun grid book. Where did I get this from? Michaels. I got this from Michaels, and I know someone was asking me if it's called Carton Supply, I think is the brand. Someone was asking me if it held up really well. I'm loving it at the moment. I can't say I've actually watercolored too much in it. It's more just like scrapbooking type stuff, like laying a base down first and then working on top of it. But I've put some Tim Holtz distress paint in here. It didn't warp. There's a lot of paint here. I guess it kind of warped a tiny bit, but not really. So this is from Michaels, and it's Carton Supply. So if you're into, if you think you want to get into a grid book, go and grab a coupon and check out that one. What else is in this book? This is obviously the same thing here. She is so sway back. I can't even really explain why I drew her like that. I think I was trying at this point to do bodies that were like kind of askew, if I don't know what the word is, but were like really distorted. So I would actually I'd draw the face and the head first, and then I'd scribble a line like this, and then I'd make her body follow that curve and that contour. So she turned out real sway back. I have a bunch of these that are actually really fun. I don't know why I like them. She's just holding her little purse, and she's just like sitting in the corner. So yeah, this is fun, and these are two in the same. Here I put one of those Post-it notes over it and gave her a mermaid tail, but I obviously didn't do it high enough because she's cut off the bottom of her tail, but that's fine. I mean, there's a lot going on. You know oh my goodness. You know I love to add too much. So yeah, that's that. Here I've got this little handmade black journal. It was actually, when I was doing all those handmade journals, this was a scrap. Well, not a scrap, but it was an offcut of a larger one that I made. I didn't want to throw it out because, you know, I'd bound it and it's nice. But sometimes it is difficult to work with black because not all of our products work on black. So stuff like this, putting in a bunch of collage elements and ephemera is really great if you've got these black journals laying around and you want to know what to put in there but don't feel like drawing or, you know, figuring that drama out. So here I've colored in these little nerd girls again. Really gone over their glasses, made those pop. I made everything muted in the background so it would really just read nerds. So if you want to use the tag as kind of like a background element, sometimes I just don't feel like drawing on the tags, but I still love tags, so I put that in there, just cut off the end of it. My date stamp. This brown paper, I've got it in here too. And I used it in this one too. It's actually a paper source bag. It's this paper source bag, and it said, please recycle this bag, and obviously I had to, because it told me to. So yeah, I got that from Paper Source, and I've loved cutting it all up and using it in all these different spreads, because I'm having a craft obsession. Here I've used this little guy again, made him a little galaxy, and then journaled about my fear of space. I'm still afraid of it, so that's that. And the zine. If you don't know what to do with this zine, and you don't want to, you know, really destroy it, here is a great example of how to put it in a journal. Well, I think it's a great example because the whole zine is here. I simply cut it in half and then glued the spreads back to back and then glued them down on the page. And that way you've got your whole zine. It's a little out of order, but who cares? And then I've answered mine. So I've also taken this page and I've drawn on their bodies. I made her like a little mermaid and her little Alice. I put a little crown on her that said Dream Queen. I put this chick in here because I'd colored her in again. But yeah, I really like that because now my whole zine is in here and I don't have to worry about finding a use for this thing. I'm gonna like keep it, obviously. I mean, I'll keep the original. I might make like a little stack of zines on my journal shelf. I don't know. I had such fun doing it. I can imagine that I'd want to do it again pretty soon. And I'm really happy to put them in these orange bags. And this is the last one I have to show you. Here I've put this on the video already, but I just wanted to show you the full spread. This is from the bag. I was practicing a few of my modern botanicals with some references from Google Images. Google Images is a great place if you're looking for something and you know, life doesn't show it to you in your immediate surroundings. Just go to Google Images. some stamping with some of the only stamps I own. Thank goodness they fit the theme. I really love it. This craft thing, this craft journal, I got from a seller on Etsy. I cannot remember for the life of me who it is, but I know a million people sell journal inserts, and I'm just loving Traveler's inserts at the moment. It's making me want to buy an actual Midori Traveler's notebook, especially the ones that, you know, the ones that say like Tokyo Station, or like the really special limited edition ones. The olive one looks really pretty. So if you guys have Traveler's notebooks, tell me down below what your experience is like, which one's your favorite, because I actually don't have any. The only ones I have are the Jane Davenport, like the canvas ones, and I'm looking to get a leather one, so let me know down below what you love. I was trying something else with the Postit Notes again. Just these little lines here are all done with marker, and these cards at the back, that's these but in pink, so if you get some pink ones and you want to try this, go for it, or do it with any color really. And then I just cut them up into strips, like little rectangular strips. I wanted it to kind of look like it was just raining images down my page. So that was just something I tried out, and I like it. I actually think this looks more busy than that green spread to me, so yeah, I don't know. But I did the journaling up the side of the page too. Here's a fun fact. When I'm journaling and making examples, I'm usually just journaling about the example that I'm making. It's actually not relevant to anything that's going on in my life. So yeah, this literally says, I don't know what kind of spread this wants to be. It's as if the page is raining images. Yes, you know what I mean? Like, if you guys are trying to read this and you're like, what is it? Get an insight into his life. It really doesn't mean anything. I'm just doing it, like, per the example. So that's that. Again, I've used a Jane stencil and done it with the lighter watercolors, which was pretty. And just colored these in and put them down. Used a few rub-ons, a few handmade journal tapes, the chips, the card chips again. I think that's everything that I've got to show as far as the examples go. So you can see there is so much you can do with this stuff. It's nothing new. I did not invent ephemera. I did not invent tip-ins or art journaling or any, you know, bullet journaling. I invented none of it. But I do want to encourage people to keep playing around with it. And if I can supply some, you know, stimulus materials to get you going, to get you in the mood for playtime, then that's what I want to do. And these orange bag grab bags are a great rate. Oh my goodness. I thought I'd gotten over the whole not speaking thing, but at the end of my video, I still can't speak. These orange grab bags are a great way for me to be able to share that with you guys, and they're also a great way for me to get rid of some of my stash. Encourage me to put it in a journal and to actually deal with that orange bag situation that's just overflowing my whole life at the moment. Let me know what you think. If you want to grab these orange grab bags, if you're on the Burke Makes Creative Outlet, the Facebook group, I'll announce it in there. I'll probably announce it on Instagram as well. I hope to have it up. Honestly, I hope to have it up today. And I'll probably do just like a limited 3 or 4 days of selling them, and then I'll fill all the orders that were placed in that time period. I try not to restrict it anymore with like 25 available, because I hate that so many people miss out, but I do have to cap it somehow, just because I've got so many other things going on. I don't want to, you know, leave this to the wayside and make people wait 4 weeks for them to get there. So yeah, I'll just leave it up for a few days. I'll put all the announcements in the, you know, all the details in the announcement when I do it. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this orange grab bag. Bye everyone.